Hello, welcome back to Cracking the Cryptic. Well, we've been recommended this puzzle by Itrio. The recommendation was from Jeremy, who's been sending us one or two recommendations lately, and he called this one an absolute banger. So I'm going to give it a go, and I can tell you what terrifies me about this puzzle. Absolutely everything. It's so empty. And it's skyscrapers in some way, and I don't know, this is so not going to suit me, but I'm looking forward to giving it a try. We'll see how we get on. You can tell from the video length whether I'm right to be shivering in trepidation or not, but I'm going to mention that, of course, if you want some nice puzzles to try, the Sudoku pack in our Patreon is fantastic this month. It's by Blobs. It's called Oil and Water. There's a lot of cages filled with oil and water, and you have to fill them, and Blobs, of course, mixes those with beautiful constraints in every case, and it's just an absolute pleasure. Give it a try. Loads of people are entering, so if you want to win the competition and do a collaborative solve with Simon, you'll have to get lucky as well as be good. But there's loads of stuff on Patreon. There's also, of course, the difficult crossword every month. That's gone up this month. There's connections videos every few days. There are other stuff that goes up there. So please join us in our lovely puzzle club on Patreon and support the channel. You can also support it by buying our merch, like this marvelous Cracking the Cryptic mug. Or this t-shirt by Amber Picture, or supporting SVEN'S SUDOKU PAD and SVEN'S marvellous work with Sudoku Pad. And of course there's all our apps which do feature line Sudoku, which I think is eventually going to be relevant today. There is no skyscrapers app, thank goodness. I mean, who would be doing the testing on that one? But there are plenty of other apps, including Fog of War, so do check out all the stuff in the links under the video. But the first link is to Whispering Eternal Loop Skyscrapers by Itrio. And the rules are these. Normal Sudoku rules apply, so at least we'll be putting 1 to 9 in every row, column, and 3 by 3 box. We have to draw a 1 cell wide loop of orthogonally connected cells. The loop may not touch itself, not even diagonally. So you can't have a loop that makes this shape, because that would be touching itself diagonally in the middle. Some people try and say, but surely even this move is touching itself diagonally. No, it's not. It's forming a loop. Now, the loop will act as a German whispers line, so adjacent digits on it must have a difference of at least 5, so maybe we'll do it in green if we can. And each cell on the loop represents a skyscraper with a height. Each cell on the loop represents a skyscraper with a height equal to its value. Non-loop cells are not skyscrapers. A digit in a clued cell gives the number of skyscrapers visible in the indicated direction, not including the cell itself, where skyscrapers block the view of skyscrapers with the same or lower height behind them. So I could show you the chain bear illustration of how skyscrapers work, but bear in mind that that was done for a skyscraper clue for the whole grid. In this one, the skyscraper clues are in the grid, and they're only referring to the cells on the loop. They're the only ones that qualify as skyscrapers. They're the only digits that qualify as skyscrapers. Now, there's one more rule. The clued cell may or may not be on the loop. I thought it had, well, okay, no, it clearly doesn't have to be. It's looking at the loop, but it may not be on the loop. I mean, it's a fairly simple rule set. Well, if you understand skyscrapers, it is, and German whispers. I don't know, I mean, that's a remarkably short rule set for such an empty grid with 7 little arrows in it. It's hard to believe Itrio has created a puzzle that is uniquely solvable with just this information. It's hard to believe that I'll be able to solve it, and maybe that's incorrect to believe, but I'm certainly going to try. I'm going to start now. Wish me luck. Let's get cracking. And I mean, what on earth do you do in this puzzle? I mean, beginning this is insane. Okay, we've got, surely, I don't know, we've got to begin up here. These arrows, they don't have to be on the skyscraper. Ah, one of them does. Right, here we go. If this arrow was not on the skyscraper. Oh, well, first of all, yeah, I've got, that's annoying. I've got no idea what to do in this puzzle, but I've got two reasons for making this cell on the skyscraper. One is that if it wasn't, surely these two digits would have to be the same. They'd be looking at the same number of skyscrapers. However, the other reason, and possibly slightly simpler, which I didn't think of, is that what this arrow is saying is that the line, the loop, appears in these two cells somewhere. At least one of them is on the loop. And if it does, and it's one of these loops that can't touch itself, it has to have 3 cells. Oh, but it could be those 3 cells. Right, well, anyway, this is on the loop. Let's make it dark green. This is also on the loop because that is pointing at something, and it can't just be pointing at this cell because that couldn't be on the loop on its own without that one. So these 2 cells are on the loop. This much we know. And the loop could go like that, or it could go like that, or it could go like that. I mean, there are various possibilities. This digit is obviously only 1 or 2. Ah, right, got something. This is not on the loop, because if it was, we've got a German whispers connection, and that digit would have to be at least 6, and that's just madness. It's not looking at 6 cells. So that's not on the loop. So this is a corner of the loop. There is a loop, and it must carry on through this cell. So that's a corner. Right, and now this is not on the loop, and these definitely are. Oh, we're forming a loop. It's happening. This is not on the loop. Well, okay, this is not on the loop provided that we accept that the loop is not going to be that size. And we have to accept that because this arrow is pointing to loop cells, at least 1. So is this one, so is this one, so is this one, so is this one. So the loop is going to get into column 1 and 2 and row 8. So it's not going to be confined up here. And now this cell can't be on the loop because we can't have a diagonal touch and it can't join up here. So that's yellow. This is green. Now, we've got high and low digits on our German whisper. Remember that on a German whisper line, you can never have a 5. Digits alternate, therefore, between higher than 5 and lower than 5 to maintain the difference. And 4s and 6s are quite difficult, and that's going to matter, I think, in box 3. You can't put a 4 or a 6 somewhere like here where its 2 neighbours see each other because, I was going to say because you just can't. No, because you can't have 2 of the same digit. 4 only has 1 possible neighbour, 9. We call it monogamous because it can only marry a 9. And you can't have 2 9s in the same row box or whatever. So these are high. I'm going to allow that one to be a 6 just because it might go that way and connect to 2 1s that don't see each other. This one can't be a 6. This one can't be a 4. This one can't be a 4 because its 2 neighbours are in the same column. And we found some of the loop. I mean, I'm quite excited by that. And that was just from these 2 having arrows. That's interesting, isn't it? And in fact, we know the number here. Oh, yeah, of course. We know the number here as well. Right. This is seeing that cell as a skyscraper. and not that one because it's hidden, it's lower. So this is a 1. This is seeing the 1 and that cell and not that one. So this digit is a 2, and that means that's 3 in the corner. That's 3 in the spotlight, losing its religion. This digit's a 2. We've said it's 1, 2, or 3 by virtue of its position on the green line. It's in a box with a 1 and a 3. I've found 4 digits in this puzzle, and we're only 5 minutes in, and I'm feeling pretty good. I'm feeling pretty good. Right, that 3 is surrounded by an 8, 9 pair, because 3 can only touch 8 or 9 on a whisper. This now is not 8 or 9, this is 6 or 7. And the line, the whisper line, does not continue to here, the loop, because this digit would have to be a 1 or a 2 touching that one, and it can't be. So that's not the loop. This is where it goes. This is a 1 or a 2, and it can't be a 2, so this is a 1. Oh, this is lovely. I'm really liking this puzzle at this stage. There's a long way to go. Right, and I don't know what the next thing is, but we've got to do some thinking. So this, this is interesting. What digit goes in here as a skyscraper total? If these two were yellow, the only skyscraper this would see is that one, and it would have to be a 1, and that would be a Sudoku clash. So at least one of these two cells is green, and the loop goes here. Now, I don't know how the loop goes there. Does it go that way? I mean, it can come through this cell as well. Does it go that? Oh, it could just pass through, go that way. I don't know. 2, 1, 3. We need a high digit after that one. This is a high digit, I haven't marked that yet. And then, right, if this carries on down here, this is a 1. If it goes, well, I don't know, if it goes there, it could be anything. Okay, I'm a bit confused. We've established that there's green here. Okay. Oh, the loop only moves orthogonally. I didn't stress that when I did the rules, but it matters. I did think it. I mean, I showed you a loop shape that did only move orthogonally. But there's a very important factor in something like a German whispers loop that moves orthogonally, and that is a bishop's move rule. And that says that for these, imagine the board, the whole grid is a checkerboard of one color in diagonally opposed cells and another color in the other ones. So here's one set, slightly larger set, I don't know why I chose that one, of highlighted cells. Every time the loop is in these cells, look at what's happened in the bit of the loop we've done already. 1, 1, 3, 2. If the loop goes through these cells, it's always low. And on the other color, when the loop goes through them, it's always high. So we could checkerboard this entire grid and know that wherever the loop went, it's high or low. So if the loop goes into this cell, it's on the same diagonal as that, and it would be high. And that is nonsense. The loop does not go into this cell, because for this digit to be high, it would be at least 6, but we don't see 6 loop cells that way. For this to be a genuine skyscraper clue, it's low. In fact, let's write in 2, 3, or 4, and now we can color it yellow. That is not on the loop. Now, there's more. I think there's more here. That's the bishop's move rule, and that matters. But also, this can't be 4, because it's not going to see that cell, because it's going to be obstructed by this one as a skyscraper. I don't think it can be 3 either. I think this is a 2. Now, why do I think that? Because, I'm not sure. Yes, I am sure. Yeah, okay. If we were seeing these two, I'm just guessing they're green, but the only way you could get this to be a 3 is if they both are green. And to see both of those, this is low and this is high. Now, how are you going to see that digit after a high one here? Only if this was a 6 and that was a 7, and that would require this digit, which we're imagining to be green, to be another 1, and that's a clash. So this is not 3, this is a 2, and we're definitely right about that. However, I've already said we're seeing green in one of these cells. At least one of those cells. Now, yes. No. I don't know whether we're only... Are we only seeing one cell here, or are we seeing them both? Or, okay. If this is on the line, it's high because of the bishop's move rule that I just went through. If this is on the line, it's low. Could we only see a high? Right, could this be yellow? And I'm going to answer this no in a moment. If this was yellow, this would be the only high. I mean, we can have a line going through there. That's perfectly reasonable geometrically. But what would this digit be? It would have to be a 6 to make that 2 right if this was yellow. And 6 is not possible here because the line would have to go through that way and would have to hit a 1 here, and that's a clash. So this is not the only cell that this line sees. Remember, if it's 7 or higher, it won't see those 2 behind it. So this is green. Now, I cannot say that this is definitely green. Once this is green, it's low, but it's not 1 or 2. So that is 3 or 4. And this cell, if it's on the line, it's high, it's 8 or 9, and it's the second cell that this 2 sees. If it's not on the line, though, that's perfectly valid too. This 2 sees that, and then this, and then no more. So we've got a 3 or a 4 here. Now that must have at least one continuation in box 6 in one of those cells, which is an 8 or a 9. Can it be a 4? Yes, if it's 2 continuations were 9s in those places, it can. I am beginning to get the impression that I'm going to have to... Okay, yeah, this digit is interesting now. It's not 1 or 2. Its maximum is 6. And I'm going to show you that that's nonsensical. So why is 6 nonsensical here? Because all of those 6 would be green. They would all be connected on the whisper, and you would be going high, low, high, low, high, low. Well, the most you could see there is 4. So this, because you would see low, high, then you wouldn't see that one or that one. And that's the most you could do. If you started with high, the maximum you could see is 3. So this is not 5 or 6. This is 3 or 4. It's also not on the line because of the bishop's checkerboard thing. It's in that diagonal set. So that's yellow. it's still quite a big number, 3 or 4. Because it's almost like one of those things I depicted has to occur. I'm not saying this has to be a line of 6 green cells, but certainly I think, well, obviously at least 3 of them are green, and that's quite a lot. Now I suppose you could keep it down to 3. Yeah, okay, I don't know. It seems like a big digit. Anyway, we've got a 3-4 pair, that's not a 4. How do I extend a line anywhere? I've got to think about this. Oh, there's this as well. Right, again, this can't be a 6. I mean, not just because of that. These can't all be green because of that. Okay, let's start with that. So 1, 2, 3, 4 or 5. I mean, let's start with a ludicrous amount of pencil marking. I think 5 is probably impossible. Given where that green is, I think the only way you could have 5 cells here is probably, no, it's not. It could be like that. Yeah, I mean, anyway, some of them will be connected. Some of them will be connected with high after low. There's no way 5 works because some of the digits on the line would not be seen. So 1, 2, 3 or 4 there. Well, here we go again in the corner. This can't be 1, 2 or 3. Well, that's quite a big deal. That means this column is going to see at least 4 digits in skyscraper terms. Wow, I mean, that's crazy. It can't be an 8 because all of those would be green and there'd be nowhere for 5 in the column. How are we going to get a column to be... I don't know, I don't want to have to think about that. I want to do some Sudoku around here. I don't know what to do next. Oh, I had a lovely start, didn't I? And then I'm just stuck like a fool. It's so interesting. This bishop's move thing, that was vital. There's probably some other vital type of deduction. Okay, this is seeing that first, and then maybe a higher one here. The 1 and the 2 clue, they're fulfilled, they're just done. This one's done either way, whether that's on the line or not. So that's kind of done. So let's think about this baby then. I mean, oh, what's its bishop's move colour? It's low, so it's yellow as well. I mean, this can hardly matter a jot at the moment, but it might matter in due course. No, let's think about this 3 or 4. This is the difficult one. This is hard. How are we going to get 3 or 4 in this? Well, I thought it was hard, and then I was thinking, what if it sees low, high, and then a higher later? Maybe that's not that difficult, but this is not... Yes, if this is on the line, it's low because of the bishop's move. That is the right checkerboard colour for it to be low. I don't know. Sorry, I don't know what I meant to be thinking about at all at this point. This is confusing. Maybe let's think about how we're getting out of this box on the loop. Because if we tried to not touch that green cell, we would have to go down to here. I suspect that's impossible. We would need a 1 in this digit, high digit here, low here. That would have to be a 4. Yeah, that wouldn't work, and it's quite hard to see how, but let me just show you why this, well no, first of all, why we can't bring this green line down to here. And it's quite, I think this is quite an interesting point. Look at the low digits we'd have to have. That would be 1, this would be 4. Now how can this be a 4? Only by having 9s connecting it there, and they break that pair of cells, because one of those has to be a 9. So that's impossible. So this green line does not avoid this green cell. It's got to turn into one of these 2 cells because it can't continue this way. It's not allowed to do that because of diagonal touching. So it's got to hit this cell from here in a reasonably efficient way. It's going to go through a low digit in one of those 2 and a high digit in one of those 2. Interesting. Now, I'm quite tempted to think, I think this works, yeah. Since that green line is going to hit this green line without going down here, I don't think these can ever be on the loop. And furthermore, because the loop would have to come up into them and then get away again, it's just there's no room. Furthermore, the loop is not going to come in here and go out here because these 2 would be low, and we've already had 1 and 2 in the column, and in fact 3 and 4. So this box is all yellow. That's interesting. Well, I mean, it's interesting to me because I've got so little else done, but it's interesting anyway. So this is going to hit that. Now, how's it going to hit it? And let's think about this clue again. Maybe. No, let's think about where we're going after we hit this. We can go up there for an 8 or 9, or we could go here. Oh, hang on. We're never going to go into the top row again because we've used 1, 2, and 3. If we were to go into the top row, we would need to take 3 cells of the top row to go in and out. And we'd either use 2 low digits or only 1 low digit in the middle of 2 other high digits, but you're not allowed to use 4 in the middle of 2 high digits because they'd both be 9s. So we do not go into the top row again. Okay, finding yellow may not be a great way to advance in this puzzle, but at least it's doing something. Now, can that 1 turn down? Because this loop is going to have to get into column 1 and 2. That would mean that it would have to go here and then avoid this. So this line at the top would then have to go left. This line here, and it still couldn't come down after that, so it would have to go left again. Now that would have to occur via a 3 here surrounded by an 8, 9 pair, because we'd need that low digit. Now, can that happen? Feels unlikely. I mean, I can see that it would do things to this cell. Hang on 1 second, I'll be back. Right, sorry about an interruption. Let's see where we are now. It's not easy. I was trying to work out whether that could go that way. And frankly, I worked out it could, which was annoying. If it went through that cell, that would still probably have to be a 3. No, not even that necessarily. 9, 4, 9. I'd rather suspect the path at the end won't have any 4s or 6s on, but that's just suspicion. Now the path is, this is a huge number. Right, this is where to work on. We've got at least a 4 in this column. So there's a lot of green in this column. How are we going to accommodate? And we've got a lot of green in this row. 3 or 4 here as well. And those aren't just the number of green cells. They're the number of skyscraper cells. So how does it work? And how do we know how it works? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, even if we get some of this path done, and I'm not seeing how to do that at the moment, I am left wondering how the puzzle will ever disambiguate and have only one solution. It just doesn't feel like you're going to get enough information from the path. I mean, Itrio's a genius and we have to just live with that, but it's weird. Oh gosh, right, if we came through that cell, that couldn't be 1 or 2. So this is if this doesn't go out there. If this goes out there, this is 3 or 4 as well as that being 3 or 4. And then we've got an 8 or 9 here. This couldn't be 3 or 4, it would have to be 3 specifically. It couldn't be 4 because the line would go that way. So if we came out here, ooh, that would be 3 surrounded by 8, 9. We'd get a 7 here. That 7 would have to go to a 1. Oh, I mean, it all still works. How am I meant to find something that doesn't work here? Okay, by bishop's move, this is not low and on the line because low goes there and there. That would be, if this is on the line, it would be high. Now, the only way to see a high digit first in this column is to see 6 first and then a gap to 7, 8, 9. In fact, they would be in those specific cells. This can never be 6 on the line because it would have to be surrounded by 1s. It's impossible for every reason. Right, I don't think this can be on the line because it would be high and it would basically, it couldn't be 6, so it would prevent that getting up to 4. So that's not on the line. Now, the line's going to have to begin fairly soon because we're going to have to get at least 4 cells seen on it. So let's say the line began here with a low. No. Yeah, that would be high. Yes, this would be a low. So the line can begin here with a low and probably does. And then you get high here. And now you've got to see 2 more highs. Well, that's interesting. Because if this is on the line, obviously we can see that the line has that shape. Well, no, it has at least that shape. So you get low, high, unseen low, and you're going to definitely see those 2 highs. Now, the only way that that doesn't happen, no, I was going to say, what if that's low and then you next see a low digit there? And that's nonsense, because the line, once the line has started, it's got to continue a little way. So the line can't begin here or you'd only see 3 highs. It must begin here. This is a corner. I can paint this in green. Oh, it takes me ages to see this, but that's right. And that's yellow in the little crook of the line. Now, this is low. It's not 2. It's 1, 3, or 4. This is high, but it's not the highest digit. It's got to be less than the next. These 2 are both going to be green as well, because they're going to be seen also on the line. This is 6 or 7. It's like a thermo. 6 or 7, 7 or 8, 8 or 9. Now this is not yellow because that couldn't be green and get out. So this is green. And now look at this line. It's getting longer. It's getting longer and more exciting. This is low, but it touches 7 or 6, so that's 1 or 2. This is touching 7 or 8, so that's 1, 2 or 3. Now this can't be 4 or 3 anymore and touch 6 or 7. So that is a definite 1. Oh gosh, it is doable, isn't it? And I just didn't understand it. That's a 3, surrounded by 8 and 9. Here we go. There we go. Look at all those digits. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. That's not a 2. Now, we're not going to go here because it would have to be a 4 and it couldn't turn into another 9. So that's yellow. This is green. This is not a 3. This is 1 or 2. What's this digit? It's seeing that 1. This is a high 1. If this is on the line, it can't see it. It must see this. It must see this. It cannot see that, even if it's on the line. This is a 2. And that's a 1. And this 2 is not on the line. It's the wrong bishop's colour, etc. This is green. Oh, excuse me. I'm so sorry. Right. I'm sorry about that. Now, I've got Sudoku on 2s. Look at that. 2, 2, 2, 2. That's a 2. That is the wrong colour. That's really handy, actually. That's the wrong colour to be green, so that's yellow. Now the line can't go there and it must come out here. Aha! So this is low and it's not 1 or 2 and it's joined by 2 digits. So that's a 3 joining 8 and 9. Now I suddenly think that this will solve. We probably all thought that it would the whole time. Right, this is 7 and 8. If it was 6, you couldn't continue into another 1 in any of those cells. 7 or 8. These are from 4, 5, 6, 7, and I bet they're not on the line, but... No, well, this is not on the line, because it would have to be low. It would be a 4, but the line would then have to turn to get 2 9s done, and that would be impossible. So that's not on the line. This is not on the line because it would crash into this or form a diagonal connection. So this is not on the line. So the line goes this way. This is high. 7, 8 or 9. This is low. Oh, and we've seen 1 and 2. So this is 3, surrounded by an 8, 9 pair. Again, there's a lot of 3s surrounded by 8, 9 pairs on this line, which is good. It's helpful. It's handy. Right, these are yellow so that we don't touch diagonally. Now the line must come through here with a high digit that is 8 or 9, because the line has to connect up. It's fantastic. I love this. This is so clever. Right, I've done that clue. I know what this is now. This is a 4. I just haven't written it in. I've done that clue. I've done that clue. I have not done this one, and I've not... Well, actually, I have finished that one. I haven't done this one at all. The trouble is, if that's a 3... which is the most likely thing. Okay, maybe we could rule out that being a 4, because if this is a 3, that's a 4, and that's helpful up here. So let's try and rule out this being 4. If this was 4, we would see the 3 high digits in the row and a low one before them. So the line would go all the way along here. Now, you might think I would accept that 6-cell lines are reasonable, but I think they're less reasonable. 9, 1, 7, 2, 8, 3. Well, no, but that was going to be 3. Yes, there's the problem. If these 6 were all on the line, all of these 3 cells would be in positions where they couldn't be monogamous, where they couldn't be the digit 4. Because of how they would connect up with the rest of the line. So they would have to be 1, 2, 3. Oh, well, that's okay. This is exactly what I am positing, that this is 4. Okay, that would be, this is by Sudoku, that would be 2 and that would be 3. You'd have an 8, 9, I can't rule it out. Bother. Okay, let's look at this one. This now can't be 3 by Sudoku. Surely this can't be 4. Those two can't both be on the line, or it would be impossible. It would be a loopy line. That is a 1. So we're only seeing one digit on the line, and it can't be, this can't be on the line, because the line would crash and die there. So the one digit is either this one or this one. The line now can't do that, because it would, this one would definitely see low and high, and that's impossible. So the line either does that or it does that. And if it does that, this is higher than that, which it probably would be, because this would be 8 or 9. In fact, this is connecting to 8 or 9 in one of those cells. Oh right, can this cell be on the line? This is quite interesting. If this cell was on the line, it sees 1 and 2. It would have to be 3, surrounded by an 8, 9 pair, and then that would be 4, and actually that does work. I'm really not done in any way yet. There's a long way to go here. I've got so few clues left to work with. How? Oh, this can't be 6 because it's touching 2. 7. So that is now 8 or 9. Now, that's a pair. That's not interesting, because we're not going any further into high digits. It's just not done. I'm almost tending to the belief that this is a 4. I'm so expecting this to be a 3. Okay, let's try it again. For this to be a 4, that's 3. Oh, this doesn't work, because you have to see 7, 8, 9 in order. 4 doesn't work there, because you'd have to have 7 here and 3 here, and they can't connect. So that is a 3. Right, this is a 4 on the line. That's 9. The other 9 has to be here. And that's going to deal with all the 8 9s. Right, I get it. I get it. It's so good. It's so good. I wonder if that will be a 6. Okay, this is the obvious line cell now. And all I know is it, oh no, it's not 1, 4 or 2. So that is 3. Okay, so we've got the line out there. Now, we're seeing 3 here. This is very unsurprising. I don't think it tells me a lot about this line, but all the clues are done. That 1 is done. All the clues are done, apart from this one. That's very weird. Right, one of those is 4, so that's not 4 in the box. Let's do some Sudoku. 5 and 6 still to place in column 1. We need a 9 somewhere up here. 7, 2, 8, 1. There's a 3 in one of those cells. 9, 3, 8, 4, 2. 1, 5, 6, 7. One of these is an 8. I'm not getting anywhere yet with this. What's going on? What's going on? Okay, let's do the line again. This has to move on. If it goes here, this digit couldn't be 4 or 2. If it goes here, this couldn't be 1 or 2. Oh, hang on. This can't go north. Yeah, that's good. This can't go north because 1, 2, 3 have gone in this column. This couldn't be a 4 touching a 7 or an 8. So that's yellow. So now I can fill in those 2 as yellow. If it went south, this also couldn't be 1, 2, or 3. Oh, for exactly the same reasons in the column. So that's yellow. So it comes out here. And it's not 1 or 3. It can't be 4 touching that, so it's a 2. Now that, I wish I could just rule it. Now, what's the 3 seeing? it could only see 2, that digit, and 9. So we could turn up. If it saw this, this couldn't be 8 or 9. This would have to be 7. Then the 3 would see 7, 8, 9. I'm getting to the point where I think this cell, this cell can never be green, because it would be low on the bishop's move rule, it would be 4 by Sudoku, and it would have to touch 2 9s, which it absolutely couldn't do. So that's yellow, these are both yellow, we can't get into the bottom row. Right, now we are closing in on trying to close up the line. There is a 9 in one of those 2 cells by Sudoku. This is such a fabulous puzzle. Thanks, Jeremy, for recommending it. Spot on. You know what we like. Right. The 2 is going to connect with a high digit in one of those cells that is not a 9. If it's there, it's not an 8. It would be a 7. This would have to be a 1 to get out of the 7. It's 2, 7, 1. Actually, neither of these can be a 9. That's quite interesting. So that 2 is going to connect either to a 7 in one of those cells or an 8 here. That would work. I cannot get my head around this. There's a 9 in one of those 2 cells. That's just Sudoku. There's a 2 right there by Sudoku. So this 9 never turns in. Well, I suppose I knew it never turned into a 2. How are we ever going to finish box 9? I don't understand this puzzle. How are we ever going to connect up the line? Now that's more believable that we can achieve it. Yeah, okay, this gets quite interesting. If this was a 3, if the line came this way, this would have to be a 3. It would then have to connect up, not to an 8 or a 9 there, which is impossible, but to an 8 here. And then the line must go here to a low digit, a 1 very specifically. So if this line goes down, it goes 3, 8, 1. And then there must be a 7 before this too. If the line goes left, this is, I suppose, 3 or 1. I can't decide. Let's do some pencil marking to pass the time. 4, 5, and 6. That's 5, 6, or 7. Oh, there seems to be only one place for 4 in this row there. That's not the sort of thing that's going to get us done, is it? That would be so weird. One of those is now a 5, so they don't have 5 in. So one of these is a 5. And neither is a 4. It's not impossible that we'll fill up with pencil marks enough to... Oh, look, 8. 8. There's only one place for 8 in the central box. Now, it could be on the line. It would be a very useful number on the line, but it doesn't have to be. That leaves 8 in one of these 3 places. Now that, I was going to say that is not an 8, but it's not an 8 if it was on the line, and it's not. So maybe it is an 8. This would still be seeing 2, 7, 9 then. Right, maybe I need to focus on whether this can be green. This would be a 7 with a 1 there. Then we would never reach that 8. We would go 7, 1, Then we couldn't have a 6 here. That's really weird. Okay, if we came this way, 2, 7, 1, we couldn't go north because that couldn't be a 6 because you couldn't have another 1, and it couldn't be a 7 again because we've just posited a 7, and it can't be 8 or 9. So if we came this way, we have to go to here and up here, and I think that's 8, 3, 9. So if we go this way, that's so strange. We have to go 7, 1, 8, 3, 9. But we could go north to a 7 here. Oh look, now we've got those 8s. We must be coming to a 7 in one of those cells. That 7 must then move on to a 1. Okay, let me just take out the center marks there. A 1 in one of these cells. Now I know I'm marking across boxes, but this is quite interesting because there is a 1 in one of those cells. That rules out 1 being in either of those cells. And this can't be a 1 because of that. The only place for 1 in box 5 is there. Now, I don't know if it's on the line. It could be, but it might not be. In fact, this pair of cells is now a 1, 9. Oh, hang on, what's happened there? I definitely said that was a 1. Right, this pair of cells is a 1, 9 pair by Sudoku now. But I don't know where this goes. It goes to a 7, then it goes to a 1 in one of those places. Then I think it must go to an 8 after that. I'm not 100% sure about that. I am now. It goes to an 8 in one of those cells. Yeah, where else could this go to after a 2, 7, 1? It can't hit a 9. 6 is impossible now. It must go to an 8 in one of those cells and then a 3 in one of those cells to join up with the 9. This is madness. I mean, I now know that one of those is a 3. I tell you what, where does 3 go in this box? Oh, look at that. We've got 3 there, 3 there, 3 there. Now we got this 1, 9 pair. 3 is definitely here, and now that can't be a 3, and that's the 3 on the line in the central box, and that's the 8 it connects to, and that comes down here to a 1, and now we know where the 7 is. My goodness, that's so clever. It's mind-blowing. Absolute brilliance. Brilliance by Itrio. Right. Right, one of these is a 7 by Sudoku, so they don't have 7 in. Now, can we get some Sudoku done, please? In fact, 1 isn't in those, so it's up there. So they don't have a 1 in. That's a 5, 6 pair. That's a 1, 7 pair. This is a 5, 6 pair, not including 3, which goes here. That's now 9. That's 4. These aren't. This is a 7, 4 pair. Oh my goodness, that was so clever, this stuff down here. Brilliant. I'm still reeling from how good that is. Right, we need a 9 in box 1. There it is. That's 5, 6 or 7. I don't know. I do believe it will solve now. I mean, it was always going to, but it's funny how you can convince yourself it won't. 4 in column 4. There it is. Weird. These are from 5, 6, 8. Now that's giving me a triple in this column. 5, 6, 8. So that is 4 or 7. 1, 9, 4, 2. I mean, it would be amazing, but not unconsonant with Itrio's skills if there was still some Sudoku difficulty left. That's 5 or 6. Only one place for 7 in column 2. Only one place for 7 in row 1. Now cells get unwound. Sorry, I'm getting overexcited. 6 there. I should not rush at this point. 6 and 5 there. Now that's a 6, 8 pair. That's a 5. Let's get rid of the corner marks. Silly corner marks. This 5 and 6, they are done. So are the other 5, 6 pair. Right. 4, 7, 8 here. That's the 4. Still haven't finished the line there. 6, 8 pair there. Don't know those either. This 4, 7 pair I do. Now, surely this column is going to do something. 1, 6, 9, 4, 2, 3. That is a naked 8. It sees all the other Sudoku digits. This is 5 or 7. This row has got an 8 in it now, so we get 7 on the line. Oh look, we did get a 6 and a 4 on this line. Every digit is represented on the whisper. That's so surprising, so marvellous as well. I don't know why. 5 and 6 there. Those are 8, 3, 6, 4. The 2 is here. It's probably been available for a long time. That 5 has sorted out 7 and 5. That sorts out 1 and 7. Down this column, 1 and 5. That's going to give me 7, 1, 9. And look, there's our loop. There's our completion. It's absolutely fabulous. What a puzzle. Just top drawer stuff. Absolute banger. That's what Jeremy told us. Jeremy was spot on. Oh, I was going to get rid of the yellow, sorry. That is an absolute banger of a puzzle. Thanks, Itrio. And the great news is that we believe that Itrio may be providing us with our next Patreon reward. You lucky people. Join us tomorrow on Cracking the Cryptic. Thanks for watching and bye for now.